The latest developments in The Bold and the Beautiful have shattered any illusion of stability within the Forrester dynasty. What was supposed to be a dazzling, fairy tale wedding between Thomas Forrester and Paris Buckingham is now a slow-motion train wreck hurtling toward disaster. With internal family tensions boiling over, Luna Nozawa's secret spiraling into a full-blown scandal, and Brooke Logan once again finding herself at the center of the storm. The Forrester empire is not only at risk of emotional implosion, but also facing a brand crisis that could send shockwaves across the fashion world. What begins as a dream, Paris and Thomas preparing to wed against the backdrop of elegance and Forrester prestige, soon devolves into chaos. The original plans were ambitious. A high-profile wedding, brand-aligned, media-saturated, with Paris as both bride and symbolic ambassador of the next generation of Forrester creation and values. But what no one accounted for was the toxic legacy that continues to poison every step of Thomas's path. Namely his entanglements with Brooke Logan and the fractures in the family that never truly healed. Spoilers for the upcoming episodes confirm that Thomas's growing tension with Brooke explodes into a confrontation that cannot be ignored. In an intense, no-holds-barred clash, Thomas demands accountability. He accuses Brooke of sabotaging his life repeatedly, manipulating Ridge, and dragging the family into emotional turmoil every time she reappears in their orbit. His tone is unforgiving. There is no diplomacy left. And this time, the consequences are not just emotional, they're strategic. Thomas presents a singular demand. Brooke Logan must be permanently removed from their inner family circle if the wedding is to proceed. The timing couldn't be worse. Leigh Finnegan, operating in her own world of rising pressure and buried secrets, pushes the Luna situation to its breaking point. Luna's pregnancy, her connection to Will Spencer, and her erratic behavior have set off alarm bells in Leigh's mind for weeks, but now it's all coming to a head. No more surveillance. No more suspicion. Leigh demands truth, and she demands it now. Her confrontation with Luna is less about concern and more about containment. The Finnegan reputation is on the line. And if Luna is spiraling toward something dangerous spatially with Spencer or potentially involvedly is prepared to go scorched earth to protect her son and herself. Meanwhile, Eric Forrester, the patriarch and symbolic keeper of the brand's legacy, watches as the family teeters on the edge of implosion. With whispers of scandal reaching the ears of industry insiders and fashion media, Eric makes the call. The wedding must be postponed. Not canceled yet, but delayed until the family stabilizes. His decision is pragmatic, rooted in decades of experience, but it sends a ripple of panic through the company. Postponement, in PR terms, often signals something worse. And now the press smells blood. As the news of the delay spreads, fashion bloggers, gossip outlets, and industry reporters begin crafting their own narratives. Forrester imploding, second thoughts for Paris. Thomas's wedding curse returns. The headlines aren't just speculation, they're damaging. And Forrester Creations finds itself under attack, not from a corporate rival, but from the weight of its own family's volatility. In the midst of this media storm, Taylor Hayes is shaken to the core. The fallout from Thomas's confrontation with Brooke, combined with the unraveling of the wedding plans, leaves her emotionally exposed. But it's more than that. Taylor begins to question her place in Los Angeles entirely. With Ridge drifting emotionally, her son at war with his past, and her own voice increasingly drowned out by louder, more aggressive personalities, Taylor begins to seriously consider leaving LA altogether. It's not just an escape, it's self-preservation. Ridge, meanwhile, finds himself in unfamiliar territory. For years, he has played the balancing act between family loyalty, romantic entanglements, and corporate stewardship. But now the balancing act is over. Shareholders, rattled by the media coverage and internal dysfunction, issue an ultimatum: stabilize the family or risk a board intervention. Ridge no longer has the luxury of indecision. His personal life is now a liability to the brand. If he can't resolve the crisis, someone else will. In this moment of unprecedented pressure, Steffy Forrester steps forward. No longer just an executive or a concerned daughter, Steffy assumes full control of the family's public narrative. She becomes the crisis manager, the general in a war against scandal. Every headline, every social media post, every whisper among buyers, Steffi tackles them one by one. She reshapes the narrative, reissues press statements, blocks leaks, and starts preparing contingency plans. The wedding, now postponed, becomes the centerpiece of her PR offensive. She insists it's not canceled, merely delayed for creative reasons. She redirects media attention toward upcoming Forrester collections. But behind her polished statements, the clock is ticking. If this isn't resolved soon, Forrester's value, both literal and symbolic, could plummet. Inside the family, the battlefield intensifies. Thomas refuses to yield. He tells Ridge point blank, either Brooke is removed from the family's inner circle or the wedding is off for good. He refuses to build a life with Paris under the same family tree that has sheltered Brooke's manipulations time and time again. Thomas wants a clean break, a rebranding of his own image, a future not haunted by the ghosts of his father's bad decisions. But Brooke isn't stepping aside. She's dug in, silently daring anyone to push her out. She denies Thomas's accusations, reminding Ridge of all they've been through, all they've survived. And deep down, Ridge still feels that connection. He doesn't say it. He barely admits it to himself. But it's there. Taylor sees it. Paris suspects it. And Thomas is furious about it. Paris, caught in the middle, begins to reevaluate everything. She was promised a future, a fairy tale. But instead, she's standing in the middle of a battleground. Her wedding has become a brand risk, her groom is spiraling into family warfare, and her name is now attached to a scandal she had no part in. Paris begins to question if she's just collateral damage in another chapter of the Brooke-Ridge-Taylor triangle. And while all eyes are locked on the Forrester clan, Lee's war with Luna may just spill over. If Luna pushes further, if she forces Bill's hand, if she publicly reveals the pregnancy, Spencer family gets pulled in. And when Bill Spencer's legacy is threatened, he doesn't play defense. He attacks. Which means another powerful family could soon be on a collision course with the Forresters, just as their walls begin to crack. In the coming days, everything will be tested: loyalty, strategy, reputation, family. Will Ridge side with his son and cut ties with Brooke? Or will he once again fall into the pattern that has destroyed so many plans before? Will Taylor stay and fight for the future she believed either vanish before the next disaster? Will Paris choose lover survival? And will Steffi's efforts to contain the crisis be enough, or is the Forrester name about to collapse under the weight of its own legacy? As the bold and the beautiful barrels forward, one truth remains: this wedding was never going to be simple. But no one expected it to become a war. In the blistering September 3rd episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, chaos brews beneath every conversation, every whisper, and every plan. The power games intensify, secrets weaponize, and personal ambition pushes several characters to the brink. With the specter of a ruined wedding looming over Taylor Hayes and a calculated pregnancy fueling Luna Nozawa's dangerous ascent, the entire world of Forrester, Spencer, and Finnegan is on the edge of a seismic shift. No one is safe. And some people, especially Brooke, Logan, and Luna Nozawa, are playing to win, no matter the cost. Katie Logan steps into the spotlight early in the episode, and she's not playing the role of supportive sister, she's becoming a catalyst. She doesn't just suggest Brooke come clean to Taylor Hayes, she urges her to do it with intent. This isn't about honesty. This is strategy. Katie sees the writing on the wall. Ridge is emotionally tangled with Brooke, and Taylor is walking blind toward a wedding built on illusion. Katie's position is sharp. Tell Taylor everything that happened in Italy. Tell her about Ridge, about you, about the promise. Blow up the wedding before it even begins. Brooke, conflicted but undeniably tempted, starts to lean into the idea. The kiss, the confessions, the romantic undercurrents between her and Ridge, it all happened. And it never really stopped. Katie doesn't shy away from the subtext. This isn't just a suggestion that Brooke come clean. This is a nudge for Brooke to take back what was once hers. Katie sees Ridge drifting, and she knows that if Brooke just pushes a little harder, Taylor won't stand a chance. But Thomas Forrester isn't blind. When he walks in on Katie and Brooke mid-conversation, he cuts straight through the pleasantries. He doesn't waste time or mince words. He knows what's happening. Brooke is circling Ridge again, and Thomas isn't having it. He interrupts, redirects, and makes it clear that Brooke needs to stay away from his parents. With Ridge and Taylor's wedding on the horizon, Thomas is laser-focused. He doesn't want complications. He doesn't want nostalgia. He wants security for his mother. And Brooke Logan. She's nothing but a threat. But the more Thomas pushes, the more Ridge slips through his fingers. Because while Thomas warns his father to stay away from Brooke, Ridge isn't so sure anymore. The pull is there. It's always been there. And even as he tries to give Taylor what she wants, what she deserves, can't ignore the history he shares with Brooke. The memories, the connection, the promises that keep resurrecting themselves even after being buried again and again. Ridge is teetering, and Thomas senses it, but he may be powerless to stop what's coming. Meanwhile, across town, another game of manipulation and ambition unfolds, far more calculated and potentially far more dangerous. At Lee Finnegan's house, Luna Nozawa stands alone, holding a pregnancy test. Her smile isn't wide. It's not joyful. It's subtle, controlled, satisfied. She's gotten what she wanted, a positive result. And that result, to Luna, isn't just about motherhood, it's about leverage. It's about power. It's about freedom. The implications are massive. Luna believes she's pregnant with Will Spencer's child. That alone could turn the power structures of Los Angeles on their heads. Will, the only child of Bill Spencer and Katie Logan, may have been seen as a boy for years, but Luna knows better. He's a Spencer heir. And now, possibly, the father of her unborn child. Luna doesn't plan to be silent about it forever. She's crafting a strategy. With that baby, she sees a door out of Lee's control, out of Poppy's shadow, and into the world of wealth, protection, and long-term advantage. She knows Bill Spencer. She knows he will never let the mother of his grandchild go down for anything. Prison. Off the table. Poverty. Irrelevant. Luna is already tasting the luxury she believes is coming, and she plans to cash in. But she's not doing it openly. Not yet. She plays it cool, calm. She disappears again, slipping out of Lee's house without a word. It isn't the first time. And Lee notices. She always notices. The constant vanishings, the cryptic excuses, the glances that don't line up with the words, it's all stacking up. And now, with the pregnancy test still in the back of her mind, Lee begins to truly worry. Where is Luna going? Who is she seeing? What is she hiding? Luna, meanwhile, is not going to Will directly, but she is watching, studying, following. She doesn't make contact. Not yet, but her presence is felt. A shadow at the edge of his routine. A ghost in the crowd. A potential bomb ticking quietly, waiting for the perfect moment to detonate. Back at Forrester Creations, the drama continues to spiral. Thomas presses Ridge again, stay focused. Don't let Brooke drag you back into the cycle. But Ridge is distant. His mind is elsewhere. Italy. The kiss. The tension. The fact that every time he thinks about forever with Taylor, something in him doubts. And with Brooke still hovering just outside the frame, he doesn't trust himself to stay on course. Katie sees this. She watches Ridge wrestle with himself, and she leans into the moment. She quietly reminds Brooke, you have the advantage. You just have to use it. But while the Logan and Forrester families circle each other in an emotional chess match, the Finnegan household is nearing a critical fracture. Lee, suspicious and unsettled, begins to dig. She retraces Luna's steps. She checks her drawers. She finds the wrapper, the packaging, the missing appointment cards. She knows Luna is hiding something big, and she's done pretending not to notice. Lee confronts Luna, but Luna is ready. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't explain. She turns the conversation, points fingers, accuses Lee of trying to control her life, smother her potential, cage her future. And for the first time, Luna looks at her aunt not with fear or guilt but with confidence, with defiance. That's when it all becomes clear to Lee. Luna's not just lost. She's calculating. She's planning something bigger. And she might already be too far gone to stop. With all these threads unraveling at once, the tension builds. Katie is pushing Brooke into battle mode. Brooke is slipping back into Ridge's heart. Thomas is losing control of a situation he thought he had locked down. Ridge is drifting dangerously close to the woman he was never really over. And Luna, pregnant, unstable, and emboldened, is preparing to crash through the social hierarchy and rewrite the rules in her favor. What no one sees coming, however, is how fast it could all implode. Because while Luna plots to gain power through her unborn child, and Brooke prepares to destroy a wedding before it begins, something darker brews beneath the surface. Something dangerous. A confrontation is inevitable. Someone's going to snap. And when they do, it won't just be a scandal. It'll be war. The September 3rd episode of The Bold and the Beautiful isn't just a chapter in a soap opera. It's a trigger point. It's the quiet before a storm of betrayals, revelations, and irreversible damage. And when it all hits, when Brooke makes her move, when Luna reveals the pregnancy, when Ridge chooses and Thomas fights back, there won't be a single character left untouched by the fallout. Everything is set. The alliances are shifting. The players are moving into place. And as the game resets once more, the stakes have never been higher.